Hi all, welcome back to the session. So for today, let me discuss the 8 uses or functions or purpose of future continuous tense. When and where exactly should we put to use future continuous tense? Now, the uses and the functions of all the 4 forms of present tense, all the 4 forms of past tense, and even simple future tense have been brought to a fruition, the link of which will be given in the description box. You may check it out for yourself. So before we dive into the uses or the functions of future continuous tense, let's see the structure or the construction of a sentence in future continuous. That is, the formula is subject plus will or shall plus be plus present participle of the verb, and then comes the object. Okay, what is present participle of the verb? Any form of the verb that ends in ing. Okay, playing, eating, all these forms of the verb are in present participle. What is past participle? The form of the verb that ends in ed. So subject plus will or shall plus be plus present participle of the verb, also called as V4, and then comes the object. So this is the subject, will be reading is the verb, and followed by the object, subject, verb, object. Now, where exactly should we use will and shall? A minor description on the difference between will and shall has also been explained by me in my previous session on simple future tense. As mentioned earlier, the link is given in the description. You may check it out for yourself. Okay, now let's move on to the uses or functions of future continuous. Now, before I proceed with the uses and functions of future continuous tense, I wanted to share something very important, and that is future continuous tense is used with a specific period of time in the future. Continuous word itself means ing, ongoing action. Okay, whereas simple future tense can be used with or without exact time. Okay, so there is a slight confusion among people in analyzing the minute difference at times between future continuous tense and simple future tense, and so that's why I'm making it very clear that future continuous tense is associated with the passage of time, the duration of time, the ongoing action of time, whereas simple future tense cannot let us know the exact time. Okay, we get more certainty with future continuous tense. Okay, certainty means there is better clarity, things become more specific, time becomes clearer and specific and certain with future continuous tense. Often, we cannot get to know the exact time when we use with simple future tense, and that is the main difference between future continuous tense and simple future tense. So let's begin with rule number 1. Use future continuous tense for temporary actions or event that will be in progress at some point of time in the future. Future is important. The second is future continuous tense is also used for planned and confirmed future action. So let me repeat. Future continuous tense means continuous means ongoing. The action is in progress. There is continuity. There is duration or passage or the extension of time in the future. When you have to lay an emphasis on the duration, on the period of time in the future, then you have to use future continuous tense, and those actions can even be scheduled in advance. It can be planned, it can be confirmed future action. Let's look at the examples. The first example is next week I will be traveling to Pune. So will be traveling is in future continuous tense. Will be traveling. You can also say I shall be traveling. Okay, so why have I used future continuous here is because traveling means I won't be static or fixed at one place. I may have to keep on moving from one place to another. I may have to board multiple means of transport. Like I may have to board the bus, then an auto. I may have to catch a train, then the flight. So it goes on and on. There is a longer stretch of the duration of time taken. So that's why in such cases we use future continuous tense. Let's move on to the second example. We won't be attending the wedding. So this sentence is in negation or negative. Will not is equal to won't. Won't is the negative way or the negative form of will not. We will not be attending the wedding. So why have I used here future continuous tense? Because the wedding is already planned and scheduled. Okay, attending. Why can't I say we won't attend the wedding? Because attending means it's a longer task than using simple future tense. Attending means I have to manage my dress, I have to organize everything, I have to don the dress, then I have to go to the wedding place, and then I have to attend all their rituals, their customs. Then comes the cocktail, then cutting the cake, then dinner, then what not. Oh my gosh, that's a long big process. So in such cases where you want to show the importance of the duration of time, then use future continuous tense. Okay, the third example, the judges will be announcing the winners, the names of the winners. The judges will be announcing, that's in future continuous tense. Okay, so some may ask me the question, ma'am, why can't we say the judge will announce the names of the winners? I would say that is also right. It's not wrong. But listen, imagine that I'm standing on the stage on the podium and I'm making an announcement. Hello all, the judge will announce the name of the winners. This sentence is the answer to the question, who will announce the name of the winners? So I am letting the public or the audience know that the judge is the person who is going to make the names of the winners explicit. I am telling to the audience that judge is the person who will be going to announce the name of the winners. And the second meaning or the second implication to this sentence is that there are not many winners on the list. The judge will announce the name of the winners. It also means that there are not many names, and this announcement of the names will be finished off very soon. He will not take a lot of time. There is no span of time involved. There is no extension of time. But if I say the judges will be announcing the name of the winners, then I am making it clear that a bigger amount of time is being taken to do something important. It will require your time. Hey dear public, please be seated. It will need some time. So in this case, there is a span of time. There is a stretch of time involved. And in such cases, we use future continuous tense. Okay, let's proceed on to the next example. I will not be working on Friday. I will not be working on Friday. So work is not a thing which can be done in 1 second or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It involves a process of 7 to 8 hours. Sometimes it can stretch up to 10 to 12 hours also. So I am informing my HR department that I will be on leave. I will not be working. So if you have to show the action or event that is in progress, then you need to use future continuous tense. I hope it's clear. Let's move on to the next rule. Moving on to rule number 2, use future continuous tense to compare present and future, which means you are currently standing in the present, but you are speaking about the future, which is planned, which is scheduled and decided. In that case, you can use future continuous tense. Have a look at the examples. Example 1, next month by this time, we will be traveling to Canada. Will be traveling is in future continuous. So why did I use future continuous tense here? Because traveling to Canada involves a longer duration. That's not a short trip of 1 hour or 5 hours or 6 hours. That's a longer journey that involves 24 hours to 48 hours. I'll be traveling to Canada. I'm stressing, I'm emphasizing on the period or the duration of time. Okay, look at the second example. Hey, don't judge him. I'm sure he will be reaching a good position in the future. Again, look here. He will be reaching a good position in the future. If I wanted, I could have said, hey, don't judge my brother. He will reach a good position. It would become just an assumption. It would become a hypothetical statement. But I cannot make a claim to my brother's future or career just on the basis of assumption or hypothesis. If I say he will be reaching a good position, it means that on a daily basis, I am observing my brother doing hard work, consistent dedication. He is so committed that he is working very hard that I'm pretty damn sure he will be reaching a good position. I hope you got the meaning. If I say he will reach a good position, it means there is somewhere a bit of uncertainty looming in my head. I'm assuming things, but if I say he will be reaching, it means I am definite. I'm damn sure that he will be reaching. Because on a daily basis, I'm seeing how much he is struggling and working hard, or he has that commitment. I hope you got it. In such situations, we use future continuous tense. Moving on to the next rule. Rule number 3. Use future continuous with a specific period of time. As I mentioned earlier, future continuous stands for period of time, duration of time, passage of time, extension of time, stretch of time. While simple future tense can be used without time also. It can be used with time also, without time also. There is a little bit of uncertainty in simple future tense. Let's look at the example. There is only one example. The same sentence has been written in both the tenses. They will be handing over the responsibilities to me on Friday. So the first example is in future continuous tense. Okay, I have become the mayor and they will be handing me over all the responsibilities. So on Friday, on Friday. So I'm sure that they'll be handing over all the responsibilities. And look at the next example, the same sentence in simple future tense. They will hand over the responsibilities. Here the time, the day or the date is not mentioned, has not been mentioned. It's in simple future tense. So there is a doubt, there is an assumption here. They may or may not hand over. Okay, if I say they will be handing over, it means I'm sure, I'm definite. So rule number 4 is future continuous tense is not used mostly with stative verbs. Okay, the opposite of stative verb is dynamic verb. I have mentioned all this a lot many times in my other videos on tenses. Stative verbs are those verbs that refer to emotions, feelings and thoughts. Things that are not tangible, things that cannot be felt or touched are stative verbs, like thinking, assuming, realizing, suspecting, liking, disliking, costing. So these kind of verbs, they are not action verbs. So those verbs are called as stative verbs. So continuous tenses, present continuous or past continuous, any tense in continuous form is not used with stative verbs. We use continuous tenses only for dynamic verbs like action words. He will be eating, he will be playing. That kind of usage is proper and is commonly used. So let's look at the example. I will be disliking her. This is wrong. It will be costing rupees 10,000. It is wrong. I will be assuming that the work is done. Wrong. So mostly in such cases with stative verbs, we do not use future continuous or any tense in continuous form. Let's move on to the next rule. Rule number 5. Use future continuous tense for multiple future actions happening at the same time. Means one action in future and second action will be ongoing. Multiple means more than one, more than two. So if there are two actions happening at the same time, you can either use present simple for one action and present continuous for the action that is happening simultaneously, or you can use future continuous tense for both the actions. Let's look at the examples. While I am at work, so this is simple present tense. I am at work. My sister will be cleaning the house. Okay, so there are two actions here. One is about me and the second action is done by my sister, but both things are happening at the one and the same time. So you can use simple present tense and future continuous tense here. While I do the work, my sister will be cleaning the house. While I am doing the work, my sister will be cleaning the house is also correct. Just like the second example, I will be writing down the names and she will be counting it. Will be writing and will be counting it. So me and my sister, we both are going door to door for a survey. Okay, so I'll be jotting down all the names. Meanwhile, my sister will be counting those names. So both these actions are happening one and the same time simultaneously, but the event is planned. It is happening in the future. In such cases, you can use future continuous tense. Rule number 6. Two actions are happening in the future. So one action interrupts another action. The action that interrupts is written in simple present tense, and the action which is getting disturbed or getting interrupted is in future continuous tense. In these examples, the action which is interrupting, which is causing a disturbance, will be in simple present tense, while the action getting interrupted in the future is written in future continuous tense. For example, I will be working when my cousins arrive. This is in simple present tense and this is in future continuous tense. Why? Because when my cousins come, I'll have to cook the food for them. I cannot keep on celebrating and have a gala time with them. I'll have to be whole time in the kitchen cooking food for them. So that involves a longer duration of time. I'll be cleaning my house when they sit and enjoy. I'll be cooking the food when my cousins arrive. So the action that is interrupting another action is written in simple present tense. That is, cousins are coming and interrupting me. And my action that is getting interrupted is written in future continuous tense. Example 2, when the clock strikes 12, I will be praying. So strikes is in simple present tense and will be praying is in future continuous tense. This doesn't mean that while I'm praying, the clock striking 12 is actually a nuisance or a disturbance for me. It actually means that when the clock strikes 12 a.m., I will be continuing in my prayers. That is, one action is overlapping into the next action. I would have started praying even before 12. I would have started working even before the cousins arrive. I am just continuing that action, but there is something to interrupt that action. Okay, the action would have started even before the action which is interrupting it. The action that interrupts is in simple present tense, and the action that began long back and is continuing into the future is written in future continuous tense. Rule number 7, future continuous tense is used to describe likely hypothetical situations in the future. Likely hypothetical. Hypothetical or hypothesis means assumption. Likely hypothetical means yes, I can anticipate. There are odds, ODDS, but I can anticipate that it is possible, it will happen because it has been already scheduled, planned and decided. Let's look at the example. Tomorrow, I will be presenting the evidence in the court. Will be presenting, future continuous tense. So here the emphasis is on the duration. As I always said, in all the continuous tense forms, we have duration or extension of time as an important priority. Tomorrow, I will be presenting the evidence. Okay, I can also say, tomorrow I will present the evidence in the court, but that doesn't seem, there is a punch, there is no punch or heaviness or a impact on that line. But if I say, I will be presenting the evidence, it means that I will be submitting all the facts and figures, the statistics, the proofs, the evidence. I'll explain each and every minute information. So I am stressing on the fact that it will take a long time for me and I am doing something very important. The amount of time taken is to do something very important. Now, second example is next week we have the awards ceremony and people will be clapping for me, future continuous tense. Okay, we have our awards ceremony. People will all be cheering up for me. People will be clapping for me. So it doesn't mean that they'll clap for 1 second or for 10 seconds. There is something very innovative and novel thing I have done that people will all be applauding me for quite some time. So a longer duration of time is involved here. In such situations, we use future continuous tense. Let's move on to the next rule. Rule number 8. Use future continuous tense with expressions like still, it's an adverb, to show ongoing action where present is continued to the future. Okay, the present is traveling into the future. Present is encroaching into the future, trespassing into the future. There is a zone of transition. Okay. Example 1. After an hour, which means right now I am somewhere else in the present. I will still be driving in the forest area. This is an adverb. Will be driving is in future continuous tense. So right now I am somewhere else. After 1 hour, I will still be driving in the prohibited forest area only. I am nowhere near the destination. I am still not out of the forest area. Still I am driving in the forest area only. Okay, so this represents present, and the present is encroaching, the present is moving into the future zone. So you can use future continuous tense. Of course, it involves a longer duration, a stretch of time. Second example, you can demotivate me, but I will still be doing it. Will be doing is in future continuous tense. How much ever you tell or try to discourage me, I won't back off. I will still be doing it. Okay. So the person who is trying to demotivate you is standing in the present tense. But you are trying to say that you cannot be defeated. You will still be doing it. So that's it all for today. Stay tuned. Stay updated. Have a great day. Like, share and subscribe.